Hey friends, welcome back to the workshop. Today we're going to be doing a lot of fun patriotic projects that are inspired by this cool red, white, and blue retro fabric that I found. Let's get right into it with project 1. This is going to be a rag wreath. I use a wire form that I get from Dollar Tree, and this is my fabric. I cut into 7-inch strips. You'll probably need 60 to 75 at least for a 12-inch hoop, and you just simply tie each piece onto the wire form. For project 2, we're going to be using this thrifted purse that reminded me of a really cool flower gathering basket, and we're going to turn it into an alternative to a wreath for our door. After we get our sides glued together using our hot glue gun, we're going to take our floral from Dollar Tree and start decorating our alternative wreath. Using something like a thrifted basket or purse that you find on the cheap as an alternative to a wreath is a really fun and different idea that you can change out for the seasons. As you notice, as I'm decorating this with my Patriotic decor, I'm using a strip of fabric that I had from my stash, left over from my rag wreath. I'm adding a pair of sunglasses that are donated by the little intern that she can no longer wear. They're too small for her. And I'm adding some really affordable florals that I found at the dollar store. You can change this out for the season. So when we go into fall, all I have to do is pull the florals out, add some dried florals, maybe some pumpkins, add a nice bow on the front. I'm not hot gluing any of this in there, so it's easily changed up throughout the year. So this is going to give me lots of mileage on this one affordable project. For project 3, we're going to be using scrap wood pieces from my stash. These are cut-offs left over from other projects that I've done in the past. Step 1, I'm just going to give it a nice fresh coat of white paint. I'm making sure to give a fresh coat of paint on all of my sides. I like to make sure that the projects look finished no matter how or what angle you look at it from. So we're painting the top and the sides and the bottom. I'm also going to give a fresh coat of white paint to this piece of wood. It's a little thinner but a little longer, and I'm going to be turning it into a small flag sign that I can use on my tiered tray. I like to be efficient with my crafting time as much as possible, so I do what's called batch painting. If I have several projects that I'm going to give a coat of paint to and it's the same color, I lay them all out and paint them at the same time. This way you save time and you can spend more time with your family. After my white paint is dry, I'm going to add my navy blue to start painting out my flags. For my little set of firecrackers that I'm making, I am going to be doing some polka dots on one. I'm going to paint one with a flag and add a wooden star, and the other one I'm going to be painting in some fun patriotic designs as well. I love using the Sharpie brand paint markers. I think that they have the most true to color options, and they also are nice and solid, and you get a nice straight line without having to go back in and refill. So I've chosen my red Sharpie marker to add the red accents to these projects. You really could do any designs on these little firecrackers that we're making. I wanted to have a different look for each one. So I'm adding polka dots. I'm doing one as a flag. I hope you guys like what we did. At the end, after everything is dry, I glue a little piece of jute at the top as the wick for the firecracker. For our fourth project, our little shelf sitter sign that I'm making into a flag, I just used my Cricut to print out July 4, and now I'm taking that same navy paint and I'm going to stencil on the lettering. You could choose to hand letter this if you had a navy marker, or if you wanted it in black, that would show up as well. While our navy paint is drying, we're going to work on these little wood stars that I had in my stash. I want them to look like reclaimed barnwood. So I'm going to lightly dry brush some of my white paint, the same white paint that I used to paint the wood blocks on the first steps, to paint my stars, and then I just attach the star to my wood using my hot glue. I hope you guys think these are super cute. These are so versatile. I added one onto the rag wreath, and you could also use it on a tier tray. For the next project, project 5, we're going to be using some of the scrap fabric still left over from that original thrifted piece that I showed you in the beginning. I'm going to also be using one of my mason jars from my kitchen that we use as drinking glasses. This scrap fabric is still on the hem and it's all still attached, so I just cut it to make it look like fringe, and I'm going to be using some of my florals that I found at Dollar Tree and a red ramekin from my kitchen. I took the fringe that I made that's still on the hem, and I hot glued it to itself and slipped it over the rim of the mason jar. This way you can display florals from your yard, or as I did, I used some florals from Dollar Tree. I also want to include in this video some projects that we've done in the past. Here's an America sign that we made using strips of fabric hot glued to the back of a simple old wood block that we painted. We also have used old pallet wood and our Cricut to create some really cool patriotic signs. You can also take your mason jars and paint them and have them as a patriotic look. I hope you guys join us for our third Thursday sale on July 21st. Thank you for watching, and go check out our website at theworkshopstop.com.